One thing I notice in the world is that most people are delusional on some level, like no matter what. And I think the reason why they're delusional is because they can't really handle the truth of things, so they distort their perception so that they can live with themselves or live with the truth that they can't handle. So, and a lot of people, they'll use coping mechanisms, and they'll do what I call, or what I like to call, play the ignoring game. Well, where they hear something they don't like that's true, and then they'll go and just ignore it or pretend it doesn't exist, and then just go and play the ignoring game. And then as soon as there's a truth that doesn't threaten their personal identity or ego, they're okay accepting that. So people like to cherry pick what they choose to believe in, what they choose to say is true, and what they don't, based off their own problems and their own situation. So doing that is actually a bad thing for many reasons. One of the main reasons is it can make you a coward, because it makes you, like, if you can't accept a hard truth, it builds a bad habit in your character of always running from hard truths, and it keeps you from adapting, evolving, and changing for the better. So one thing that you always should do that is very important is to always make sure that you acknowledge uncomfortable truths and face them head on, even if they threaten your personal identity or situation, or they make you feel like they make you feel worthless. Just acknowledge it. The pain is temporary, and then from that point, you make the changes you need to. You do what you got to do, and just make that a habit. And know that by doing that, you're gonna become a more courageous person, a more honorable person, and a person of dignity. So doing that will always be better for you in the long run. And be open-minded too. Like, sometimes you got to face truths that are outside of your comfort zone of believability, or your belief system. So be open-minded, hear hard things that are unbelievable sometimes. Of course, do your own research, and you got to do that too. But the main point is to always be truth-oriented and not delusion-oriented. Sometimes, here's another thing, is that sometimes being delusional is good for you. Like if you believe, like, in the law of assumption from Neville Goddard, like, sometimes you gotta bullshit yourself to change for the better. But it's only good when it's going in that direction. But if you're gonna delude yourself because you can't handle a truth, that's when it's bad for your character, and it can make you into a coward. So always try to make sure that you're always facing the truth head on and never running from it.